Hi, my name's Sierra, and I want to give a few tips on what to take with you to a protest, especially with all of the anti-Trump protests going on right now. Yeah, a lot of people are feeling helpless, and they want to know what they can do for their country or whatever cause they're fighting for. I haven't been to very many protests, but I went to the Dallas protest that ended differently than a lot of people expected. So, with that kind of being like the worst case scenario, I want to give a few tips like that. The first one is going to be make sure that you really believe in the cause that you're fighting for and that you're marching for. One thing that I realized when I was at the Dallas protest after the shooting started was I had to ask myself, is this like really worth my life? And then at the end, my answer was yes to that. Hopefully you'll go home safely after the protest. I was able to. A lot of people, or 5 officers, were not, unfortunately. So it's really important to think about that. Make sure that the cause that you're fighting for and that you believe in so much that you're willing to possibly give your life. I don't want to sound morbid or anything, but that's something that you should consider before you go out and take your sign. Secondly, that was a non-physical thing. Now we'll get into some physical things to take that on a little bit of a lighter note. So we'll make sure that you take water. Water is really important. Whether you take like a Camelback or some kind of hydration pack, or at least like a bottle of water, that's really important. Because first of all, whether things go haywire at the end or not, you're going to be marching, you're going to be using your voice a lot, and it's easy for your throat to get a little bit parched. So make sure you're taking water. And in the event that something bad happens and you're not able to get access to water for a while and all they give you are the little like baby bottles, you'll be happy that you have water. So you can be really thirsty and it sucks. Secondly, make sure that you have some snacks. It doesn't have to be anything very heavy, especially with the adrenaline and just like the energy of all the people around you. You kind of forget that you're hungry, even if you are for a while. So I wouldn't say take anything really heavy. Just take like some fruit or like hemp seeds or whatever, pumpkin seeds. Just something to kind of keep you with some sort of energy. Third, I know a lot of people, when I went there, I was like kind of shocked at first because a lot of people were like dressing up really cute, like they had dresses on and heels on. I was like, okay, do your thing, girl. But in the event that something happens, and even if you really want to walk, like the people that were like super dressed up and stuff, they just kind of stood in one place, which is fine. I mean, at least they're out there and stuff. But make sure that you have some comfortable shoes, like some running shoes, just in case, because you don't know if you'll have to run. And even just for walking too, you don't want to wake up the next day and your feet feel like they're gonna fall off. So yeah. Okay, next thing. Oh, this is very important. This isn't so much a physical thing, but it's more of like, as far as planning goes, something important like that. If you go with a friend or a group of people, make sure that you have some kind of system of like how to get in contact with each other if you get split up for some reason. Earl, my husband, went with me. He didn't really want to at first because it's like it's a public area. And I see why. I see why now, but he didn't want me to go by myself. So I went with Earl, and like we were together the whole time. But now when I think back on that day, I saw one of my friends who went to college with me, and we lived on the same floor freshman year and stuff, and we were talking for probably about like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. It's really not that long of a time, and we were still like in pretty close proximity to Earl, but I could only imagine, and this happened to a lot of people after the shooting started, like you get separated. It's easy to get separated from the person that you showed up with. So be sure that you have some kind of plan. Maybe have 2 or 3 locations to meet. It's better to have one, but sometimes things get blocked off. So maybe have 2 locations of where to meet in the event that you guys do get split up, and in the event that you drop your phone or your phone dies. Both of those things happened to me on that day. So make sure that you have some kind of plan of, okay, if we get split up, then this is what we're going to do. Best thing to do is just to stick like right side by side to that person the whole time. Now, most protests aren't going to end up the way that the Dallas protests ended up. Most protests are usually very peaceful, and you get to go home without anything like bad happening. But sometimes that happens, and I just want you guys to be prepared. I'm not doing this to scare anyone. These are just things that I wish I would have really thought about on that day. Lastly, and probably the most important thing, is after the protest, think about what you're going to do after the protest to make a difference. A protest is really good. Some people like it, some people don't. Like, that's your prerogative. I like them. I think they're good as far as raising awareness goes. They're good as far as unifying people. But it's also really important to ask yourself, okay, what am I going to do after this in order to make a change? Am I going to go to another protest? That's fine. Am I going to try to do some kind of other action, like a boycott? Or am I going to try to start a social media campaign for this cause? These are things to think about, whether it's for the Black Lives Matter movement, whether it's for Standing Rock. Ooh, this is another thing. Another thing that you can do to make a change. Change.org. You can either make a petition or you can sign petitions, and then you can share them so that other people will also sign petitions. And then the creator of the petition will take it to whatever government official with all of the signatures and try to get whatever it is that you want changed. I know a lot of people, like for Standing Rock and the Dakota Access Pipeline, a lot of people have gone there and have protested, and that's great. Not everybody, unfortunately, has money to get a plane ticket or a bus ticket or whatever, like really doesn't have money. So you can find a list of the people who you should call and leave voicemails for, and that can make a big change too. If one person is getting floods and floods of calls and emails and letters, something is bound to change eventually. Hopefully sooner than later. So whether it's for that, Black Lives Matter, whether it's for LGBTQIA people, whether it's for basic human rights, reproductive rights, minority rights, like whatever you believe in, the environment, animals, all this stuff is really important. And if it's really that important to you and you decide to do a protest or any of the other things I mentioned, just be sure to consider everything. My hope is that everything is peaceful. I like peace, but I also know that unfortunately sometimes things end in violence, and sometimes violence seems to be the only way to get things done. So I hope that you guys stick with peace, but if you're faced with violence, you at least know how you can prepare for it, and try to stay safe if you can't. Let's see, what else? I really think that's it. So we'll just do a quick recap. The attitude, number 1, take the attitude that this cause is bigger than me. If that cause is not that important to you, maybe you should find another cause, or maybe you should find another way to help. And it'll be pretty easy to you if you ask yourself, is this cause really this important that I might not come home after the protest? If it is to you, then cool. If it's not, that's cool too. Maybe find something else that you really believe in. Number 2 was water. 3 was snacks. Number 4, comfortable running shoes or walking shoes. Number 5, what was number 5? Okay, if you're doing the buddy system, to have a plan in place in order to find your buddy if something happens. And then number 6, to think of other ways that you can help facilitate the change. Just don't let it be a one-time, okay, I'm going to protest this time, that's it. Make sure that you have other things in place. And it really, like, on top of actually making a change, like, imagine if everyone did one little thing. Everyone did one little thing for this cause. It would be amazing. So just think of all those things. And I think that's all I have to say right now. I hope this helps. I hope that all of the protests and everything you do for a change is peaceful. And I hope that you stay safe. And that's all I have. So thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day. Bye.